to the community that I came from and the greater community that I'm a part of. And incorporating all of those other experiences and life lessons, the military, the athletic, the student-athlete piece, and then the community experiences, I think that helped to distinguish and make me a unique candidate. And I think what law schools are looking for is they want a classroom that's dynamic. They want people that have perspectives and opinions. So anything that you can do as you prepare for law school that's going to let an admissions officer know that you have a unique perspective and a unique opinion and an intellectual capacity to deploy that opinion within a classroom, that adds value to a law school and ultimately to an alumni body and ultimately to the family that is that institution. Here it's the University of Miami, and it is a family. You know, you come here and you have your biological family, and then you have your University of Miami family, and then it's an extended family, and they don't go away. It's forever.
Very, very awesome. And so with that, particularly just going back to your interest of sports law, particularly your background as a student athlete, undergraduate, is probably in high school, tell us a little bit about how that process went in terms of, okay, deciding you wanted to be a sports attorney, the activities you were involved in at the University of Miami, as well as how you cultivated the relationships afterwards, because as a career advisor, a lot of students want to be a sports attorney or an entertainment attorney, but those are the most elusive areas in the law. So how did you bring that to fruition and make that successful?
I had a plan. I told you I wanted to be an attorney since I was 6. I decided I wanted to be a sports attorney when I was a week away from entering my first day of undergrad. So in that, I was working all of those years to be a sports attorney. I had the pleasure of going to Florida State in the 90s. In 1993, my freshman year of Florida State, we won a national championship. The fallout of that is there were a lot of professional athlete prospects on my campus in my athletic department that were my friends. They had agents who were coming to meet with them on a regular basis. I was the kid in the corner asking questions, getting to know people and networking. And people take note of a young undergrad student athlete who says he's going to law school asking insightful questions. And I started to build a network then. So by the time I got to law school, my first year of law school, I already knew some of the top agents in the country. But more importantly, they knew me. And I stayed in touch with them. I sent them letters. I sent them letters that were probably unnecessary, like, I started my first day of law school today.
Oh, wow.
You know, but I stayed in touch with them and through correspondence. And University of Miami, I'm not sure what it is now, but our second semester, we had an option as a first-year student to pick an elective. I sent letters to all the agents that I knew saying, what elective should I take? This is the list. You know, and I didn't get responses, but they got the letters, and they remembered the letters. And then after my first year of law school, I had the pleasure of being offered a clerkship at Schutz & Bowen, which is a firm here. It's the oldest continuing firm here in Miami. And my first week at Schutz & Bowen, the law offices of Lee Steinberg and Jeff Morad called me and asked me if I would be interested in coming out to Newport Beach to do an internship within their sports agency. And I had already made the commitment at Schutz & Bowen, but I was able to adjust that and go and do 2 or 3 weeks out there, as well as do 8 weeks at Schutz & Bowen and get a mix of a traditional law environment, but also be at the biggest sports agency in the country at the time. And that was only because of the foundation and the groundwork. I met Jeff 2 years earlier. I sent him letters and stayed in touch with him. I told him what I was doing, and almost unsolicited, they offered me an internship because I already had a job. So I wasn't looking for a job at the time. I was trying to stay in touch, but they offered for me to come out. And because of all of that building up to that, being at a place where I was networked into the athletes, being an athlete at Florida State, they had high-quality athletes. There's lots of institutions around the country that have that going on, including the University of Miami. You know, our undergrad athletic department here is notorious. So it's about building relationships and building a network. And it doesn't matter, that doesn't apply just to sports, it applies to every aspect of the law. And you have to identify not necessarily exactly what you want to do, but how you're going to do your legal career. If you're going to law school, some people are just here and going to class, and then there's people that are here working towards a certain objective. And you can see the difference between those two groups of people. If you have an objective that you're working towards in life, you can always be more successful.
Oh, very. Thank you. Thank you. That was awesome. Also, tell us a little bit about your practice, because you've had a practice. You've also taught at the University of Miami School of Law as an adjunct professor. So tell us a little bit about the practice and some of the things that you were involved with the practice areas.
My practice is constantly transforming because life is a continuing classroom. You're always learning and you're always trying to apply what you've learned in the past to the future. I stopped acting as an athlete agent in 2005. So when I graduated from law school, I actually went to work for Senator Darrell Jones as the chief of staff for a year before embarking full-time into my sports agency career. But what I realized, there's only 10,000 professional athletes in America. There's about 300 million or so people. As a lawyer and as an entrepreneur, I want to have access to 300 million potential clients and not to 10,000. So I started to look at the advice of my father, how can you build a niche that expands your market? And being an athlete agent, when you say I'm a sports agent and you meet somebody at a bar, on a golf course, at a business event, the only thing they can do is say, oh, that's really, really cool most of the time. They don't have a professional athlete in their family. Their kid is not prospected to be a first-round draft pick. So there's a limitation on the interaction. They can tell you they have somebody that's interested and you'd like to, can you give them an internship or this or that, or can I get tickets to a game? But when you come and you say, as I am now, I'm an estate planning attorney, I do legacy and estate planning, that's available to everyone. So now I can take not only the fact that I do work with athletes and I have a lot of athlete friends and clients, people think that's cool. It helps me build my business because of the type of clientele that I've worked with and the type of confidence that I've received from people that others look up to and think are stars. This guy is okay for them, so he must be okay for me. So it was really about trying to build a business that's applicable to a broader base and to a broader platform of people. And also you realize that there's a lot of services that are needed by athletes and individuals alike that aren't typically available. And like I said in my personal statement, I wanted to help and grow a community that's stronger than it was when I came along. So that's kind of where I've been taking my career, and still focused on servicing the athlete, because the athlete has a plethora of needs. He has a need to negotiate a contract with a team. That's what the agent does. But he also has a need to protect all of his interests for his great-great-grandkids. That's what the estate planner does. He has a need to reduce his taxes. That's what the tax lawyer does. He has a need to protect